Good afternoon. My name is Joelle Scott and I'm the Counsel and Welfare Officer here at Woodchurch High. In today's session, we'll be looking at understanding and managing emotions. If you have any questions throughout the session, just pop them into the chat box and we'll discuss them at the end. Thank you. In this session, we'll explore how teenagers experience emotions and how we, as parents and caregivers, can best support them through this important stage of development. We'll look at what is happening beneath the surface of teenager behaviour and how we respond in a way that builds connection, trust, and emotional resilience. We'll consider how to guide young people, helping them develop the skills that they need to negotiate their emotions with confidence over time. Adolescence is a key stage of emotional development. Today, we'll explore what our teens are experiencing internally and how our responses as adults can make a significant difference. Behaviour is communication. Teen behaviour is often driven by powerful emotions that they are still learning to recognise, understand, and manage. During adolescence, the brain is still developing, particularly the areas responsible for impulse control, decision-making, and emotional regulation. This means that what may look like defiance, moodiness, or poor choices is often a young person struggling to cope with feelings that feel overwhelming or confusing. Teen behaviour is often driven by emotions that they don't yet fully understand. The brains are still developing, particularly the areas responsible for emotional regulation and decision-making. This explains why teens can sometimes seem dramatic or reactive. It's developmental, not defiance. Emotions during adolescence can shift quickly. What feels small or manageable to us as adults can feel overwhelming and intense to them. On top of this, it's a time of firsts for our teens. For example, rejection. This can be from friendship groups or even the person they might have a crush on. Pressure. Again, this can be pressure from school, but also the pressure to fit in. Maybe even to try new things that might take them out of their comfort zone, or that they know they really shouldn't be doing. But again, the fear of rejection can cause anxiety and worry in them. Also, they might be questioning their identity. Within their secondary school life, they go from being young children who are heavily dependent on us to being young adults who, if they're anything like my children, think they know it all. However, they quite simply lack experience. That and the strong emotions that they experience can result in them becoming overwhelmed without the tools or experience to cope effectively yet. It's easy for us to assume that our children are just being typical teenagers when they're being moody and irritable. They barely say 2 words to you, and they want to spend all the time in the rooms not doing anything. And yes, we could say it's just them being teenagers. But as we've already stated, teenagers are going through this roller coaster of emotional development. So it's understandable that they're struggling with this. When trying to identify if your child is struggling and in need of our support, the key things to look out for is a pattern of behaviour over time, rather than one-off isolated incidents of behaviour. What we see on the surface is often just a sign of something deeper. Think of an iceberg. Emotions can be like this. We might see the anger and the behaviour outbursts, such as meltdowns and slamming doors, shouting, etc. But we don't always see the hurt, rejection, and frustration. We don't see the feelings. This is where us as parents come in. Together, we'll reflect on practical strategies too. Respond to the emotions with empathy and understanding. support teenagers in managing intense or changing feelings, strengthen communication and connection, and build long-term emotional skills, not just short-term compliance. Our goal is to better understand the teenage experience and to feel more confident in how we support them through it. As parents and caregivers, our role is to guide, not control. One of the most powerful things we can offer is the feeling of being heard and understood. In fact, feeling understood is often more powerful than trying to immediately fix the problem. Jumping straight to solutions can shut teenagers down. Being heard builds emotional safety and openness. I often say to teens, I don't have a magic wand, I can't change things. However, it might help to talk. We can empower them to come up with solutions themselves. What would you do? Stay calm when emotions escalate. We help them to regulate rather than react to their emotions. They need to feel emotional safety to feel that they are feeling with what they are feeling without judgment. Guidance means setting clear boundaries whilst also showing empathy. It means teaching, not punishing, listening, not just reacting. By doing this, we support teenagers in developing emotional awareness, resilience, and independence, skills that will serve them well into adulthood. Giving space when needed, but staying available and supportive. It's okay to say, let's take a break from this. If things are getting heated, it's okay to take a break. This not only shows the positive effect of time, but also that you also experience similar to them, not the same emotion, but are able to take some space to manage their feelings effectively, and that is okay. Offer a distraction. How about what we talk whilst we make tea together? This can help as it reduces the intensity as they're using parts of the brain to complete the task, so less focus is on the feeling. Over time, with consistent support, teenagers learn how to manage these emotional shifts more effectively. They begin to understand that feeling can cause intense, but they're also temporary and manageable. Our children need to know that they have our full attention, so find a time that you can fully be present to have a conversation with them, not juggling making the tea, getting other children ready for bed, etc. This can be hard to do as we're all very busy. But making time helps form a connection to your child, and we need to take a connection, not corrective approach. When the connection is in place, the negative behaviours from this emotional roller coaster will correct itself. Listen without interrupting, judging, or rushing to fix. This strengthens the relationship and encourages teens to keep communicating. Acknowledge the emotion. I can see that this really upsets you, and reflect it back to your child so that they can hear back what emotion they're feeling. This will either validate the feeling for them, or they will hear it back and come to realise that maybe what they're feeling is a bit different to the emotions that they initially thought it was. We need to help our child learn what emotions they are feeling, because they will know what they feel, because they might not always know what they're feeling, but they just won't be able to put it into words yet. By identifying their signs and symptoms and linking it to the situation that triggers those feelings, we can help them name what they're feeling. If we can name it, we can tame it. Reflection and validation are really important tools for you to navigate these emotions with your child. I'm including here some things that we want to avoid doing, and I'm including them because I can guarantee that we've all done these things at some point. I know I have. Or you may remember from when you were a teen how your parents and carers responded to you. We can easily dismiss our child's feelings when we're navigating the difficulties of adulthood. But we have to remember that for our children, these are the biggest difficulties that they had to face so far in their short lives. It's also easy for us to lecture them on what to do. Unfortunately, the chat box doesn't seem to be working at present. If you want to email any in, my email is joelle.scott@woodchurchhigh.com. Thank you.